The Great Hall of the Galactic Confederation stretched out like a metal canyon. Thousands of alien beings filled the floating seats that circled the massive chamber. Their voices created a buzz that echoed off the curved walls. At the center of it all stood Hyunwoo Kim, Earth's ambassador to the galaxy. Hyunwoo felt small in the enormous space. His dark suit looked plain next to the colorful robes and strange armor of the alien delegates. The Zephyrians wore flowing silver cloth that seemed to move by itself. The Nexari covered themselves in black metal that clicked when they moved. The tall Catharians had thick fur and carried weapons even in the peaceful hall. He cleared his throat and stepped forward. The noise in the chamber grew quiet as thousands of eyes, some with more than 2 pupils, turned to look at him. Hyunwoo had practiced this speech many times. Earth's future might depend on what happened in the next few minutes. Honored delegates of the Confederation, Hyunwoo began. His voice carried through the chamber's speakers. I come before you today with an urgent warning. Our deep space sensors have detected something terrible approaching our galaxy. A few aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. The Zephyrian Prime, a tall being with pale blue skin, leaned forward in his floating chair. The young species speaks of threats they cannot understand, he said. His voice was smooth but cold. What could Earth possibly know that we do not? Hyunwoo pulled out a small device and activated it. A hologram appeared above his head showing star charts and energy readings. The data came from Dr. So-Young Park, Earth's best scientist. She had spent months studying the signals from deep space. These readings show massive ships approaching from the void, Hyunwoo said. They move in formation and consume everything in their path. We calculate they will reach Confederation space in 6 months. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens laughed while others made angry sounds. A Nexari delegate stood up, his metal armor clanking. Humans have been part of our Confederation for only 2 years, he said in a voice like grinding metal. You barely understand space travel. How can you detect what our advanced sensors cannot? General Krath, the head of Confederation military forces, rose from his seat. The massive Catharian stood 3 meters tall with gray fur and sharp teeth. When he spoke, it sounded like a growl. Earth's entire fleet consists of 20 primitive ships, he said. Your weapons are chemical explosives and simple lasers. What threat could possibly worry warriors who have fought across the galaxy for thousands of years? More laughter filled the chamber. Hyunwoo felt his face grow hot with anger, but he kept his voice calm. General, with respect, these ships are unlike anything you have faced. Our analysis shows they adapt to weapons and defenses. They learn from each battle. Analysis from a species that discovered faster than light travel last week, said another alien voice. This came from a Draxi, whose insect-like face clicked as it spoke. Humans still fight wars on their own planet. They cannot even make peace with themselves. The Zephyrian Prime held up one long-fingered hand. The chamber grew quiet again. Ambassador Kim, he said, we understand that joining a galactic civilization can be overwhelming for a primitive species. Many young races see threats where none exist. It is natural to fear what you do not understand. The readings do not lie, Hyunwoo said. He made the hologram larger, showing the energy signatures more clearly. These ships emit power levels beyond anything in Confederation records. They are coming whether we believe it or not. A Nexari commander stood up. Even if such ships existed, she said, the Confederation has defended this galaxy for 10,000 years. Our combined fleets number in the millions. Our shields can stop planet-killing weapons. Our technology is beyond your comprehension. Besides, added General Krath, what could Earth possibly contribute to galactic defense? Your biggest ship is smaller than our shuttles. Your weapons could not scratch our training drones. The laughter grew louder now. Hyunwoo looked around the chamber and saw the same expression on every alien face. They thought he was a fool. They saw humans as children playing with toys they did not understand. The Zephyrian Prime stood up, ending the discussion. This council appreciates Earth's enthusiasm, he said. However, we cannot base military decisions on unproven data from an inexperienced species. The Confederation's sensors show no unusual activity in deep space. Then your sensors are not looking deep enough, Hyunwoo said quietly. What did you say? General Krath's voice turned dangerous. Hyunwoo straightened his shoulders. I said your sensors are not looking deep enough. The threat comes from beyond your normal scanning range. We detected it because we were looking for it. And why? Asked the Nexari commander. Would Earth be looking for threats that do not exist? Hyunwoo paused. He could not tell them about the ruins found on Mars. He could not explain that humans had been preparing for this day for 50 years. That information had to stay secret until the right time. "We look because we have learned to expect the unexpected," he said instead. The Zephyrian Prime made a gesture that ended the discussion. "This council finds no evidence to support Earth's claims," he announced. "The session is closed." As the aliens began to leave their seats, Hyunwoo tried one more time. "When those ships arrive," he called out, "remember that Earth tried to warn you." General Krath stopped and turned back. "When nothing happens," he growled, "perhaps Earth will learn its place in this galaxy." The chamber emptied slowly. Hyunwoo stood alone in the center, still holding his device with its ignored data. He thought about Dr. So Young back on Earth, watching her instruments as the threat grew closer. He thought about the secret projects hidden in Earth's asteroid belt. Most of all, he thought about what would happen when the galaxy learned that humans had been right all along. He activated his communicator and sent a simple message back to Earth. They did not listen. "Begin final preparations." The reply came quickly from Admiral Ji-Ho Lee. "Understood. Operation Thunderstrike is ready. Let them learn the hard way." Hyunwoo walked out of the Great Hall, leaving the galaxy to its ignorance. In 6 months, everything would change. The aliens would learn that sometimes the smallest voice carried the most important warning, and they would discover what happened when they ignored Earth's children. Deep beneath the streets of Seoul, hidden behind layers of rock and metal, the new defense complex hummed with activity. Admiral Ji-Ho Lee stood in the command center, watching dozens of screens that showed data from across the solar system. His gray uniform bore no decorations, but everyone in the room knew he commanded Earth's greatest secret. "Admiral," called Dr. So Young Park from her station. The scientist's black hair was tied back as she studied the incoming signals from deep space. "The Void Fleet has moved closer. I estimate 4 months until they reach Confederation borders." Ji-Ho nodded grimly. "Any change in their numbers?" "Still growing," So Young replied. Her fingers moved quickly across her instruments. "My latest count shows over 50,000 ships. They pick up more vessels as they consume each system." Across the command center, Engineer Taemin Choi looked up from his own screens. "Admiral, I have an update from the asteroid belt. The Indomitable's final systems came online this morning. All 500 kilometers of her are ready for combat." Ji-Ho allowed himself a small smile. For 50 years, Earth had been preparing for this day. It started when the first human colonies on Mars found something unexpected buried in the red soil. Ancient ruins that told a story of terror from the stars. Dr. Min-ji Han had been young then, fresh from university when she joined the Mars expedition. She was older now, her hair gray from decades of study, but her mind remained sharp as she worked to understand the warnings left behind by an ancient civilization. The writing on the ruins was clear. Min-ji had told Earth's leaders years ago. They called themselves the Guardians. They fought something called the Void Eaters. The message said the threat would return when the galaxy grew comfortable and forgot the dangers beyond the stars. That discovery changed everything. While Earth made contact with alien civilizations and joined their confederation, humans secretly began the largest construction project in history. Hidden in the asteroid belt, protected by stealth fields that even advanced alien sensors could not detect, they built something the galaxy had never seen. "Report from Construction Bay 7, Taemin announced. "The gravitational pulse cannons are fully charged. We also completed installation of the antimatter torpedo tubes." "Excellent," Ji-Ho said. "What about the reality disruptor?" Min-ji looked up from her research station. "The weapon is ready, Admiral. We reverse-engineered it from the Guardian ruins. According to their records, it was the only thing that could stop the void ships permanently. The reality disruptor had taken 20 years to build. Earth scientists had to invent new theories of physics just to understand how it worked. The weapon could tear holes in space itself, erasing matter from existence. It was dangerous beyond measure, but the Guardian's warnings made it clear that nothing else would work against the void. "Sir," said Captain Yeon-soo. "Oh, Commander of Earth's escort fleet. Our 10,000 support ships are in position throughout the asteroid belt. Crews are ready for deployment." Ji-Ho walked to the main display screen. It showed a 3-dimensional map of human space. Thousands of red dots marked the locations of Earth's hidden fleet. Each ship was small compared to alien vessels, but they carried weapons and technology that the Confederation could not imagine. The aliens think we are primitive, Jiho said to his assembled officers. They believe our weapons are simple chemical explosives and basic lasers. They have no idea what we really built. So Young pulled up another screen showing Earth's weapon systems. Plasma cannons based on Guardian technology. Quantum torpedoes that can phase through enemy shields. And our ship's armor uses materials that do not exist in normal space. The Guardian ruins had provided more than warnings. They contained technology that seemed like magic to human scientists 50 years ago. Slowly, carefully, Earth's brightest minds learned to understand and copy these impossible machines. The Confederation's dismissal actually helped us, Timon observed. They never investigated our industrial facilities too closely. They assumed we were building simple mining equipment and basic defense platforms. Let them keep thinking that, Jiho replied. Surprise will be our greatest weapon. A new alarm sounded in the command center. So Young quickly checked her instruments. Admiral, I'm receiving emergency signals from the Confederation outer rim. The Kepler system has gone silent. The void has arrived, Minji said quietly, just as the Guardians predicted. Jiho watched the data streams flowing across his screens. Reports of massive alien ships appearing without warning. Planet stripped bare in hours. Confederation fleets moving to intercept the threat. How long before the Confederation realizes they need help? Yonsu asked. Not long, Jiho answered. Their pride will cost them dearly, but eventually they will swallow it and ask for aid. As if summoned by his words, a communication signal arrived from Confederation space. The message was brief and desperate. Request immediate assistance from all member worlds. Deploy all available vessels to Rally Point Omega. Jiho looked around the command center at his team, So Young with her deep knowledge of the approaching enemy. Taemin with his mastery of impossible weapons. Minji with her understanding of ancient warnings. Yeonsu with her fleet of hidden warships. This is it, he announced. 50 years of preparation come down to this moment. The galaxy mocked our warnings. They called us primitive children. Now they will learn what Earth's children can do when their family is threatened. He opened a communication channel to every human facility in the solar system, from Luna Base to the Martian colonies, from the asteroid shipyards to the orbital platforms. Earth's defenders listened to their admiral's words. Operation Thunderstrike begins now, Jiho declared. All ships prepare for hyperspace translation. We go to show the galaxy what happens when they ignore Earth's warnings. The command center erupted in controlled activity. Engineers ran final systems checks. Scientists monitored power levels. Officers coordinated with ship commanders across the solar system. Admiral, So Young called out, I'm detecting massive Confederation fleet losses at the Proxima defense line. They are being destroyed faster than they can retreat. Then we arrived just in time, Jiho said. He turned to his officers with determination burning in his eyes. Remember, we are not going to save the aliens who mocked us. We are going to save the galaxy itself, and when this is over, they will never again dismiss Earth's children as primitive. The screens around the command center showed Earth's hidden fleet powering up for war. In a few hours, the galaxy would discover what humanity had really been building in the darkness between the stars. The first attack came without warning. One moment, the Kepler system held 3 planets with billions of inhabitants. The next moment, massive black ships appeared in space like wounds torn in reality itself. Captain Yeon-soo watched the battle reports from her position aboard the Confederation command ship Pride of Zephyr. The alien bridge crew moved with desperate efficiency around her, but she could see fear in their strange eyes. Their most advanced sensors had detected nothing, until the void ships were already inside their defensive perimeter. Status report, demanded Admiral Kreshok, the Zephyrian fleet commander. His silver skin had turned pale with stress. 17 void vessels confirmed, reported a Nexari officer. Each ship measures approximately 50 kilometers in length. They are consuming the planets. Yeonsu stepped closer to the main display. The images from Kepler-3 showed something that made her stomach turn. The planet's surface was being stripped away layer by layer. Massive mechanical arms reached down from the black ships to tear away chunks of rock and metal. The material flowed upward into the ships like water being absorbed by a sponge. How is that possible? Admiral Kreshok asked. They are converting matter directly into energy, Yeonsu said quietly. Then using that energy to build more ships. The alien officers turned to look at her. They still saw her as a representative of a primitive species, but desperate times made them willing to listen to anyone. Our deep space observations showed this pattern, Yansu continued. The Void Fleet grows larger with each system they consume. Every planet becomes dozens of new ships. Admiral Kreshock's expression darkened. You knew this would happen? Earth tried to warn the Confederation 6 months ago, Yansu replied. Ambassador Hyunwoo presented all our data to the Council. They chose not to listen. A new alarm sounded across the bridge. The tactical officer, a tall Catharian with gray fur, announced grimly, Void ships are moving toward our fleet position. Estimated time to contact 47 minutes. Signal all ships, Admiral Kreshock ordered. Battle Formation Omega. Prepare for engagement. Yansu watched through the viewports as hundreds of Confederation ships moved into position. The vessels were impressive, each one larger than anything in Earth's public fleet. Their hulls gleamed with advanced armor. Energy shields shimmered around them like soap bubbles. Weapon ports glowed with charged plasma cannons. Surely our combined firepower can stop 17 ships, said the Nexari officer. 17 ships that we can see, Yansu corrected. Our scans suggest more vessels are hidden behind some kind of stealth field. The Pride of Zephyr shuddered as the first Void ship came into weapons range. The alien vessel looked like a geometric nightmare made of black metal and strange angles. It moved without engines or any visible propulsion system, sliding through space as if reality bent around it. All ships, open fire, Admiral Kreshock commanded. The Confederation fleet unleashed everything they had. Plasma beams that could melt asteroids struck the Void ship's hull. Quantum torpedoes that could destroy space stations exploded against its sides. Energy weapons that had conquered 1,000 worlds focused their power on a single target. The Void ship absorbed it all. The energy strike simply disappeared into its black surface like light falling into a hole. The ship continued its approach without even slowing down. Impossible, breathed the Catharian tactical officer. More Void ships materialized around the Confederation fleet. They had been invisible until this moment, surrounding the aliens like predators circling prey. Yansu counted 40 vessels, then 60, then stopped counting as more kept appearing. Evasive maneuvers, Admiral Kreshock shouted, but it was too late. The Void ships opened fire with weapons unlike anything in the galaxy. Beams of pure darkness reached out from their hulls, and whatever they touched simply ceased to exist. Confederation ships that had survived 1,000 battles disappeared without explosions or debris. They were there one moment and gone the next. Our shields are useless, reported the Nexari officer. Their weapons pass through our defenses like they do not exist. The Pride of Zephyr lurched as a dark beam barely missed its hull. Where the beam passed, space itself seemed to twist and tear. Yansu had never seen anything so terrifying. All ships retreat to fallback position, Admiral Kreshock ordered. But the Void ships moved faster than anything should be able to move. They surrounded each fleeing Confederation vessel and methodically erased them from existence. In 20 minutes, the battle was over. Of the 800 ships that had engaged the Void fleet, less than 200 survived. The rest were simply gone, as if they had never existed at all. Admiral Kreshock slumped in his command chair, his silver skin now gray with shock. Send emergency signals to all Confederation worlds, he said in a broken voice. Request immediate reinforcement from every available fleet. Sir, the communications officer reported. Priority message incoming from Earth's ambassador. Put him through, Admiral Kreshock said. Hyunwoo's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tired but determined. Admiral, Earth stands ready to assist in the defense of Confederation space. What can your tiny fleet possibly do against this? Admiral Kreshock asked. More than you might expect, Hyunwoo replied. Admiral Ji-Ho Lee is prepared to deploy our full defensive capability. We request coordinates for the rally point. The Catharian tactical officer laughed bitterly. 20 primitive ships against 60 Void vessels? This is madness, perhaps, Hyunwoo said calmly. But Earth's children do not abandon their neighbors in their time of need, even when those neighbors previously mocked them. Admiral Kreshock transmitted the coordinates for the Proxima defense line, humanity's last hope for organized resistance. As the communication ended, he turned to Yansu. What can Earth really do? He asked quietly. Yansu smiled for the first time since the battle began. Admiral, you are about to discover that humans are very good at surprising people who underestimate them. Deep in space, Dr. So-Young Park monitored the Void Fleet's movements from her position aboard Earth's hidden command ship. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Admiral Ji-Ho Lee stood beside her, watching the tactical displays. "The Confederation has learned their first lesson," he said grimly. "Now it is time for their education to continue." "Sir," Taemin Choi reported from the weapons station, "all systems show ready. The Indomitable awaits your orders." "Then let us remind the galaxy," Admiral Ji-Ho said, "what happens when they ignore Earth's warnings." The massive human fleet began its approach to the battle zone. Hidden from all sensors by technology the aliens could not imagine. Soon, very soon, the sky would shake with the roar of Earth's mothership, and the galaxy would learn the true meaning of human determination. The Proxima defense line stretched across space like a broken chain. What remained of the Confederation's mighty fleets huddled together in desperate formation. Admiral Kreshock stood on the bridge of the Pride of Zephyr, watching his sensors for any sign of approaching. "Reinforcements, status report," he demanded. "For the 10th time in an hour. Void Fleet, maintaining position at the system's edge," reported the Kitharian tactical officer. 68 ships confirmed. "They appear to be waiting." Captain Yeon-Soo studied the tactical display. The void ships hung in space like black daggers, making no move to attack. She knew they were analyzing the Confederation's remaining defenses, learning from the previous battle. "Why do they wait?" asked the Nexari commander. "They are studying us," Yeon-Soo explained. "The void adapts to whatever opposes it. They want to understand our weapons and tactics before they strike." Admiral Kreshock's silver skin had turned almost white with stress. "How long before Earth's reinforcements arrive?" Admiral Ji-Ho Lee did not specify a time, Yeon-Soo replied. He said only that help was coming. A bitter laugh came from one of the alien officers. 20 primitive ships will not change the outcome of this battle." Yeon-Soo said nothing, but she touched the communicator hidden in her collar. A simple signal that told Earth's fleet their position. What the aliens did not know would astonish them beyond measure. Deep in space, far beyond the range of alien sensors, the ESV Indomitable prepared for battle. Admiral Ji-Ho Lee stood on the command bridge of humanity's greatest creation. Around him, the finest minds Earth had ever produced worked at stations filled with impossible technology. "Final systems check," Ji-Ho ordered. "Gravitational pulse cannons charged and ready," reported Taemin Choi from the weapons station. The engineer's hands moved across controls that could reshape reality itself. "Quantum torpedo tubes loaded," added another officer. "Antimatter reserves at maximum capacity." Dr. So-Young Park looked up from her science station. "Reality disruptor is ready for deployment, Admiral. The weapon shows full power." "Support fleet status?" Ji-Ho asked. 10,000 ships in perfect formation, Captain Yeon-Soo reported from her secondary position. Though she stood on the alien command ship, her primary loyalty was to Earth's hidden fleet. "All vessels report ready for Operation Thunderstrike." Dr. Min Ji-Han activated the main display, showing the approaching battle zone. The ancient Guardian warnings had prepared them for this moment. Everything humanity had built, everything they had learned focused on the next few hours. "Remember," Ji-Ho announced to his crew, "we are not fighting for the aliens who mocked us. We fight for Earth. We fight for humanity's future. We fight because it is right." Back on the Pride of Zephyr, alarms suddenly began screaming across the bridge. The sensor officer, a Draxi with compound eyes, looked up in confusion. "Admiral, I am detecting massive energy distortions at the edge of sensor range," he reported. "Something large is approaching through hyperspace." Admiral Kreshock leaned forward. "Earth's reinforcements? Energy signature is unprecedented," the sensor officer continued. "Whatever is coming is larger than anything in our records." Space itself began to twist and bend as the hyperspace rift opened. Yeon-Soo felt her heart racing as she watched the impossible sight unfold. First came the escort fleet, 10,000 ships that dwarfed even the largest Confederation vessels. Each one bristled with weapons that should not exist. "By the ancient stars," whispered the Kitharian officer. "How many ships does Earth possess?" But then came something that made even the escort fleet look small. The ESV Indomitable emerged from hyperspace like a mountain of metal and death. 500 kilometers of aggressive human engineering that had been hidden in the asteroid belt for 50 years. The alien bridge fell silent. Even the void ships seemed to pause in their advance as the human mothership took position between them and the Confederation fleet. Impossible, Admiral Kreshok breathed. How did a primitive species build something so massive? The communication system crackled to life. Admiral Jiho Lee's voice filled the bridge with calm authority. This is the Earth Strategic Fleet. Admiral Kreshok, your ships will withdraw to a safe distance. We will handle the void threat. Handle it? Admiral Kreshok's voice cracked. Admiral Jiho, that is a fleet of adaptive machines that consumed our most powerful weapons without effect. Admiral, Jiho replied, Earth has been preparing for this enemy for 50 years. We know their weaknesses. Stand aside and let us work. On the Indomitable's bridge, Tae-Min Choi targeted the nearest void ship with weapons the aliens could not comprehend. Gravitational pulse cannons locked on target, sir. Fire, Jiho ordered. The weapon that emerged from the human mothership twisted space itself. Instead of energy beams or physical projectiles, the gravitational pulse reached out and crushed the void ship like an invisible fist. The black vessel crumpled and collapsed into a ball of compressed metal. The remaining void ships immediately adapted, their hulls reshaping to resist gravitational attacks. But Earth scientists had expected this. Quantum torpedoes fire, Jiho commanded. The torpedoes phased through normal space, bypassing the void ship's adaptive defenses entirely. They materialized inside the enemy hulls and exploded with antimatter fury. 3 more void ships died in brilliant flashes of light. The enemy fleet responded by focusing all their dark energy weapons on the Indomitable. The beams that had erased Confederation ships struck the human mothership's hull and stopped. The armor absorbed the attacks, converting their energy into power for Earth's own weapons. Impossible, the void ships seemed to signal to each other. For the first time in their existence, they faced an enemy that had prepared specifically for their methods of attack. Dr. Min Ji-han smiled grimly as she watched the battle unfold. The Guardian ruins taught us well, she said. They knew exactly how to fight these machines. The human escort fleet engaged the void ships with tactics no alien military had ever seen. Instead of formal battle lines, they attacked in chaotic swarms that confused the enemy's adaptive programming. Small ships sacrificed themselves to destroy larger ones. Captains made impossible decisions that turned certain defeat into victory. Admiral, So Young reported, the Void command ship is moving to the rear of their formation. The reality disruptor has a clear targeting solution. Jiho looked around his bridge at the people who had made this moment possible. Tae-Min with his mastery of impossible weapons, So Young with her understanding of the enemy, Minji with her knowledge of ancient warnings. All of Earth's children working together to save a galaxy that had mocked them. Charge the reality disruptor, he ordered. It is time to end this. On the Pride of Zephyr, the alien officers watched in stunned silence as the human fleet systematically destroyed the void ships. Admiral Kreshok turned to Yonsu with something like awe in his eyes. Your people, he said quietly. How did you know? Yonsu looked at the tactical display showing Earth's victory. We listened to the warnings that others ignored, she said. We prepared for the threats that others dismissed. And when the time came, we remembered that sometimes the smallest voice carries the most important message. The sky itself seemed to shake as the Indomitable's reality disruptor powered up for its final strike. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when they underestimated Earth's children. The reality disruptor hummed with power that should not exist. Dr. Min Ji-han watched the ancient Guardian technology charge to full capacity, her hands steady on controls that could tear holes in space itself. Around her, the bridge of the ESV Indomitable buzzed with controlled energy, as Earth's finest prepared to end a threat that had terrified the galaxy. Weapon charged to maximum, Tae-Min Choi reported from his engineering station. Target locked on the Void command ship. Admiral Jiho Lee stood at the center of it all, watching the tactical display as the last of the Void fleet realized what was about to happen. The black ships tried to retreat, but Earth's escort fleet had surrounded them completely. There would be no escape this time. Sir, Dr. So Young Park called from her science station. I am detecting panic signals from the Void fleet. They are trying to communicate with something in deep space. Calling for reinforcements? Jiho asked. No, sir, So Young replied grimly. They are trying to warn others of their kind. They want to tell the greater Void fleet what Earth is capable of. Jiho smiled coldly. Then let us give them something worth warning about. Fire the reality disruptor. The weapon that emerged from the Indomitable was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was not energy or matter, but something far more fundamental. The reality disruptor reached out and simply deleted a section of space where the Void command ship existed. For a moment, there was nothing. No explosion, no debris, no energy signature. Just empty space where a 50-kilometer ship had been moments before. Then reality snapped back like a rubber band, and a shockwave of twisted space-time rippled outward from the deletion point. The remaining Void ships, cut off from their command vessels controlling intelligence, began to malfunction. Their adaptive systems failed without central coordination. Their weapons powered down. Their hulls started to break apart as the technology that held them together collapsed. "All Void ships are dead in space," reported Captain Yan Suo from her position with the Confederation fleet. "Their fleet is finished." But the battle was not over. The largest remaining Void ship, a massive vessel twice the size of the others, began to glow with dangerous energy. Its hull cracked open like an egg, revealing something that made even hardened human warriors step back in shock. "What is that thing?" Taemin asked. Inside the broken ship was a machine the size of a small moon. It pulsed with dark energy and seemed to bend light around itself. Ancient symbols covered its surface, the same symbols Dr. Minji had found in the Guardian ruins on Mars. "It is the original Void entity," Minji said with quiet horror. "The first one. The machine that consumed the Guardian civilization 10,000 years ago." The entity spoke without words, its message reaching every mind in the battle zone. Its voice was like the sound of stars dying, ancient and terrible beyond measure. "You know our weakness," it pulsed. "Impossible. The Guardians are dead. We consumed their knowledge. We consumed their worlds. We consumed their hope." Admiral Jiho opened communications to the entire fleet, his voice carrying across human and alien ships alike. "The Guardians are dead," he said calmly. "But they left warnings for those who would listen." Earth listened. Earth learned. Earth prepared. "Humans," the entity replied with something like surprise. "Young race. Primitive technology. How do you possess Guardian weapons?" "Because," Jiho said, "we remember those who came before us. We honor their sacrifice, and we learn from their warnings." The entity's rage shook space itself. "We will adapt. We will learn your weaknesses. We will return with fleets that darken the stars themselves." "No," said a new voice. Dr. So Young stepped forward, her instruments detecting something the others had missed. "You will not return. The reality disruptor did more than destroy your command ship. It severed your connection to the greater Void fleet beyond the galaxy." The entity paused, its ancient mind processing this information. "What have you done?" "We cut the quantum entanglement link that connected you to your species," So Young explained. "The greater Void fleet in the space between galaxies no longer knows this galaxy exists. You are alone now." The truth of her words hit the entity like a physical blow. For the first time in its existence, it experienced something like fear. Cut off from its kind, trapped in a galaxy that had learned to fight back, it faced the possibility of actual defeat. "This cannot be," it pulsed weakly. "It can and it is," Admiral Jiho said. "Earth's children have come home and we protect our family." The entity made one final desperate attack, unleashing energy that could have destroyed planets. But the Indomitable's shields held, powered by technology the Guardians had hidden in their warnings. The attack was absorbed and redirected back at the entity itself. The ancient machine screamed as its own power tore it apart. The sound echoed across the galaxy as the last of the Void fleet died in the light of its master's destruction. Silence filled the battle zone. The threat that had consumed civilizations was gone. Earth's hidden fleet hung in space like guardian angels, their weapons still glowing with readiness. On the Pride of Zephyr, Admiral Kreshok stared at the tactical display in amazement. The primitive species that his people had mocked had just saved the entire galaxy. He opened communications to the human fleet. "Admiral Jiho," he said quietly, "the Confederation owes Earth a debt that can never be repaid." "We ask for no payment," Jiho replied. "We ask only for respect. Earth's children tried to warn you. Next time, listen." In the months that followed, the galaxy changed forever. The Confederation Council met in emergency session, with Ambassador Hyun Woo sitting in a place of honor. No longer did they see him as a representative of a junior species. Earth had become the galaxy's protector. The Council recognizes Earth as a founding member of the new Galactic Defense Initiative, announced the Zephyrian Prime, his arrogance replaced by humble respect. Back in Earth's hidden shipyards, Dr. Minji Han studied new signals from deep space. The reality disruptor had done its work, but she knew the galaxy still held dangers. Other threats waited in the darkness between stars. "Admiral," she reported to Jiho, "long-range sensors detect movement in the Andromeda Galaxy. Something is heading this way." Jiho smiled grimly and looked out at the construction bays where work had already begun on an even larger ship than the Indomitable. "Then we will be ready," he said. "Earth's children always come home." Taemin Choi activated the new ship's systems for the first time. This vessel was not just a warship, but a mobile fortress that could protect entire star systems. "The ESV Guardian is taking shape, sir. She will be twice the size of the Indomitable." "Good," Jiho replied, "because next time the galaxy will not need to learn the hard way. They will listen to Earth's warnings from the beginning." Dr. So-Young Park smiled as she watched the construction progress. The galaxy had learned that humans were not primitive children playing with simple tools. They were the guardians of ancient knowledge, the protectors of the innocent, and the voice that warned of dangers others could not see. Earth's children had come home, and they would never again allow their family to face the darkness alone. The sky had shaken with the roar of their mothership, and that sound would echo across the galaxy for generations to come.